Vincenzo's Gold Crypto Investing this October the 13th, 2025, daily gold and silver bullion video, cryptocurrency and blockchain technology video to become asset millionaires. And you can see the cryptocurrency after we had a massive liquidation and manipulation, which was primarily in the altcoins fault. Bitcoin did go down about 15% from its all-time high to that swing low. But Ethereum was hit harder. It was down greater than 22% on October the 10th last Friday. And you can see where we're at now. And it does coincide with something that we were watching about. We were saying this whole way down here, if this snuck back up into this 3.5 year pattern, it'd be very critical because it could make a new all-time high, but it might not be because of the forceful of the pump. It was just because it was trading along the uptrending support and resistance, right? And then we were going to watch to see on this back test, and it held it on the back test for 3 days. And on the fourth day, it had the big flush last Friday. We bounced off where we said we would, and the Bitcoin price, if we did drop down out of here, which would be the 200 day on a brief rally. But we thought this time, if it came on a forceful move with the price action and confirmed it with volume uptick, unlike you didn't see any, this just kind of traded out. This just kind of traded down. There was no volume uptick. There was no volume uptick. But now you had a big move, a 15% move, price action confirmed, and then the big massive volume uptick, right? So this could be confirming the breakdown. And if that is the case, it would be the same thing that we were saying back here and back here. If this confirms a breakdown, $95,000 is a big major underneath target that you would have to pay close attention to, because it's very likely if this doesn't continue to pump back up, get back over the 50-day moving average, and reestablish itself inside of this uptrending support of this rising channel, 95,000 would be your next major move to the downside. And speaking of that, and the manipulation, because we know it was orchestrated, because it was not only timed up after market, after hours, but it was lined up after a week of a Bitcoin whale, an OG fossilized whale from 2011, pulled out nearly $500 million and went on 10x leverage on Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Right as this move is about to happen, he placed the 10x move Friday morning, rode down the 15% move in one and 20% move in the other, and he cleared, I believe it was $250 million on the trade, closed the position out about 8, 9 hours after he opened it. And then he watched the price go up, and then he reopened a massive short position again yesterday, right around where the price is at now. And he's got a liquidation price of about uh $125,000 in Bitcoin and probably about $5,000 in Ethereum. You can see Ethereum drop down exactly to where we said it would the last several days when we were watching this. Get that out of there. When we were watching this sort of stagnate and create a mountain triple top, did we think it would come down and do it in one day on a manipulated flush? No. But we were saying the whole time why the price action was up here. See this, why the price action was here, 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 and here, that it was forming kind of a Bart Simpson mountain double top. And if it came back down to the 50, it wouldn't be able to hold it. It wouldn't be able to hold 100 because it already used these buyers out there. And the major support level that it would come down to would be the 200 day, which is just on the 3478, the top part of the screen support and resistance box. And then we said you should get a bounce, and it could come up back to the major upper resistance, which is now on top of it, trying to hold it as major support, the neckline resistance, right? And that's something that we're trying to see what happens now. And that's the very critical thing in the Ethereum price. If we go into the short term, as you can see, you're just above the 100-day in the daily, right? And you're just below the 50-day in the daily. You're being squeezed and consolidating right on the neckline support, which is bullish as long as you hold it. The bearish scenario would be you're trading along here and you can't confirm above it and you slip back below it. And then you start using it as resistance. You slip the 100-day and before you know it, you're making a double bottom, right? That's the bearish scenario. The bullish scenario is kind of what you're doing right now. You continue to hold this, get a volume spike, reclaim the 50, come back up to your next major resistance and continue on, right? You hold this major neckline support, and if you do hold that, you would come back up to nearing the all-time high which was this 4 triple top right there, right? So it's a very critical stage for Ethereum because if you break down, you would be likely to come back down here, but make full body hits on daily candles, not just a liquidation wick, right? But if you pump to the upside, you'd be looking to take out the new all-time high. So it's very exciting. We're in very uncharted waters after a historic collapse in the crypto sphere, and we'll show you some of the details on that here on a minute. You can see the XRP price wicked all the way down to 99 cents to $1. I think it officially hit 99 cents on the wick, but where it actually came off the wick were people, unless you had limit orders down there from months ago, right about the $1.99 to $2.25 was an opportunity to buy, then to $2.33. But now you can see it's snaking its way up and it's sitting just above or on the $2.55, the major support and resistance level. And you can see how we had this 233, which was the weekly time frame or the monthly time frame moving average, right? And we said if you broke down when we were trading up here the last several weeks, we laid out the reasons why we thought we could come down here. And we did actually come down there and we did have a couple of full candle body hits during 3 days. So that did confirm the hit down there at 233. Now, if you want to continue bullish now and just have this as a temporary manipulated move to the downside, and we're going to shake it off like a bad cold in the fall time. You want to stay on top of this 255, right? You can see right now, I believe you are on top of it. Yeah, you're sitting just above it. You can see we've had several hits on it, but we got rejected by the 100-day moving average initially, which is something you would expect. But what you want to see here to continue this bullish trend now is you continue to hold this 255, reclaim the 200-day moving average, and then start chopping away at the 100-day and the 50-day moving average overhead. The bearish scenario would be you can't get above the 200-day. You fail to hold at some point this 255. You start using it as resistance because if you lose this, you will come straight back down there to retest a local double bottom on the 50-day in the daily time in the weekly time frame. And then if you can't hold that, you could come all the way down to the 177. But this is why it's very exciting times now because we're not exactly sure what's exactly going to play out. Was this just one manipulated shakeout before we have a blow off top on the end of this bull market that we're currently in right now? Or more importantly, was this a more than a temporary shakeout? This was a medium term bearish complete clean out and not just a leverage clean out uh, before the next bull market to get everybody out and to get max buying opportunities for the institutional investors, right? That's something that we're watching out for. With the XLM price is the same thing. You can see the XLM price came all the way down to about the 16.6 cents. Yes, I know it's 666, but the trading sites, the manipulation will work with Satan. I can only show you what the numbers show. But you can see we bounce back off the 50-day moving average, the bottom part of the screen support and resistance box. Now, what you need to do if we want to continue to be bullish and not have this as a quick recovery to only be trapping people at liquidity pools, but to be more substantial and have more substance and to be more of a fake out to the downside. Come on. Would be the first and most important thing you have to do. Right where you're at now, you're coming up to the 200-day moving average. You have to get on top of the 200-day moving average and then reclaim this 36 cents. If you're sitting on top of this 36 cents, that's bullish, then you can work your way through the 50 and the 100 overhead moving averages, right? But if for any reason between the 200-day and this 36 cents, if you get rejected by this, you will come down at least to a double bottom down here at 31 cents. And that's something that we are absolutely paying attention for uh, as we watch the price action over the next several days. Because if it did lose that, there is possibilities you could still come down and make a full hit here and not just a wick liquidation down there. But this is all to be determined, and we're all at critical areas of support and resistances on these coins. We'll get into some altcoins that everybody loves later on this evening. You can see the price, the Bitcoin's actually pumping now while we're making this video, so that's very exciting. It's going to be very exciting all week to see exactly what happens because there's a lot of activity going on. There's a lot of moving parts taking place, and there's a lot of Uh, there's a lot of ways this could shake out over the next 1 to 2 weeks, either being bullish or bearish, either being just a short massive manipulation to the downside to clear out and clear the leverage books of 1.1 million traders and take away for the trading sites with all that fucking money? Or was this something more significant in the short term? You can see something more significant in the short term is one of the biggest futures opens I've ever seen in silver, reclaiming an all-time high up 6%. Gold is up 2.5%. Futures is up 3%. Gold hits 4,100 for the first time ever. The mining stocks are having a very, very good day, but it's just making up some of the losses that they had on Friday. Uh, because the mining stocks have been a little bit stagnant here recently. Have we been making new highs as they've been more cautiously buying when you would expect bigger moves where they have big opens and then they sell off through the day. But this is a massive day in the commodity sector. But the dollar does continue to rally. But these are all very bullish. We have very high targets. Obviously, we've been investing in this for over a half a decade. We've been talking about it on here for a half a decade, and these targets will be hit. Could there be a big consolidation somewhere? Yes. Where that exactly will be, I don't know. With the new mineral war with China now, right? That's going to put strain, supply problems on these minerals that we need for all the stuff that we're trying to do. And you can see here, I had ChatGPT pull a chart up and calculate the percentage moves in November 1st to December 31st, 2025 to 2023, all of the years. 2015, it had a 36% move, right? 2016, a 37% move. 2017, 108% move. 2018, and this is sort of where we started to notice a little change, 41% down. 2019, 21% down. But you can see the 2016 and that 37%, that was at the end, or no, that one was the start of the bull market. And then the 2017 one was the end of the bull market, where in December it actually peaked out at 20,000 before you had your first 3 year massive, 2.5 year massive bear market. So those 2016 and 17 timed up with a high, right? A 1.5 year high. 2018 was at the apex of the bear market, 41%. 2019 was rebounding still off of its lows and coming out of the bear market. 2020, COVID lined up uh, with a blow off top of the bull market. And then 2021 was lining up with the bear market. 2022 was coming out of the bear market. 2024 was the blow off top of it ended up lining up with the Donald Trump blow off top crypto rally, right? So it all has to do what seems to be it's not so much with the time of the year. Jesus. It's not so much with the time of the year, but it has to do with lining up with the current state of the crypto cycle. And right now, we're either going and finishing an all-time high in this bull market, or we are at the top, right? So that's something that's very, very interesting to figure out what's going on. Are we at the top, or are we, or are we got one last leg to the upside before the top? So that's very interesting to see what's going on. And we're going to continue to pay attention to that. But I got to get this video out. I am on my lunchtime. I will have a better video on altcoins this evening. Like the channel, subscribe. Peace and love.